Hare Krishna, everybody. Somebody can please lead the invocation prayers.
May I try, Prabhu?
And then Prabhu, go ahead.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananje Salakaya Saksur Unilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mahabhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutare Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Yutapata Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagarajam Sahagana Raghunathan Vittam Tam Sadivam Sadvaitam Sadvam Parijana Pahitam Krishna Chaitanyam Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vittamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Krishna Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhaya Ivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. We welcome Abhishek Prabhu. He is also in the process of getting caught up on all previous recordings. We met him while doing services at the temple on Balram Jayanti. Welcome, Abhishek Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So what we'll cover today is Ram Vilas will answer inquiries from last class and bring up on screen striking points. You will then answer the homework questions, the spiritual endeavor questions given. And then we will cover Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verses 1 to 11. So I will bring up the inquiries on screen. Question number 1 is, please explain why Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentation on Brahma Sutra or Vedanta Sutra. So the 4 Vedas were compiled by Srila Vyasadeva are also known as Vedanta. So Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra, another name, was compiled by Srila Vyasadeva to give the cream of Vedic knowledge. The Vedanta Sutra or the Brahma Sutra, which is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, is a deliberation on the impersonal feature of the absolute truth. So Srila Vyasadeva compiled these Vedas ending with Vedanta, but these Vedic literatures do not directly glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vedanta Sutra is directed towards Jnanis. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam is the one unrivaled natural commentary on this cream. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And Srimad Bhagavatam is a personal commentation on the Vedanta Sutra by Srila Vyasadeva. So therefore, it says that Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentation because the Vedas largely refer for Jnani and to the impersonal aspect, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not glorified in detail a lot, while Srimad Bhagavatam is the personal commentation and a lot of focus is on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Does that answer this question? A little heavier and a technical question.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Question number 2. The so-called liberated persons are never satisfied by the repetition of the words Aham Brahmasmi. Please explain this statement. Now, this statement comes from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.19 purport. Is also there in other places. And this word Aham Brahmasmi. Now, this Aham Brahmasmi process is followed by Gyan Yogis. Such Gyan Yogis follow the process of negation. That this is not spiritual, this is not spiritual. Thus, the Gyan Yogis keep rejecting everything in the material world and they just sit and meditate that Aham Brahmasmi, that I am spirit soul. Bhakti Yoga, on the other hand, uses everything in the material world, and Bhakti Yogi, they engage their mind and senses in the service of the Lord, because soul can never be inactive. Ultimately, the Gyan Yogis, after a lot of troublesome practice, they do achieve perfection and they achieve Brahman effulgence. At Brahman effulgence, there is no activity. And because soul can never be inactive, hence such Gyan Yogis fall down to the material world. And these Gyan Yogis take birth in the material world as these humanitarian people. Brahmaji says in Srimad Bhagavatam that the only gain of Gyan Yogis is pain because of the troublesome sadhana that the Gyan Yogis perform. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says with this statement, as well as this statement is there in other places also, the statement is the so-called liberated persons are never satisfied by repetition of the words Aham Brahmasmi, that such Gyanis, although they may achieve Brahman effulgence, still they are never satisfied. Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita 12.5 that Gyan Yoga path is very difficult. Therefore, when Arjuna had asked whether Arjuna should follow Karma Yoga or renounce the world, Krishna responded that Arjuna should follow Karma Yoga. And if at all at the end of life, if one wants to renounce, one should follow Ashtanga Yoga instead of Jnana Yoga. Now, both Ashtanga Yoga and Jnana Yoga are not the prescribed sacrifices for Kali Yuga. Sankirtan Yajna, Bhakti Yoga are the prescribed paths for Kali Yuga. And ISKCON devotees, even to the last moment of their life, they do not renounce anything. ISKCON devotees, they continue Bhakti Yoga by remembering Krishna up to the very last moment of death. Bhakti Yoga means remembering Krishna. Does that answer the question? Little heavier question as well.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Question number 3. Naimisharanya and Nirmat Saranam sound similar. Is there any connection between them? So super excellent that these words Naimisharanya and Nirmat Saranam have stuck in your head. My task is accomplished. So there is no connection between the words Naimisharanya and Nirmat Saranam. Essentially, one who is Nirmat Saranam, meaning non-envious, will generally travel to holy places such as Naimisharanya. So we discussed that Naimisharanya is a holy place where demigods also come down to perform some sacrifices. Does that answer the question?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Last question for today. How do we relish Srimad Bhagavatam? What bhava we should have when we listen to Srimad Bhagavatam virtual classes on the Zoom or listen to the recording? Give some tips and examples. Is super excellent inquiry, and Ramvilas placed this inquiry as the last inquiry for today for a reason, to link the answer to the striking points that you will provide every week from now onwards. So we have discussed that Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. Therefore, devotees offer bhoga and worship to Srimad Bhagavatam and to Gopinath at the home temple and at the temple. So just as you wait at the temple for temple doors to open to take darshan of Gopinath, and when doors are opened, you offer obeisances in awe and reverence, that same bhava you need to have for Srimad Bhagavatam. That before every Srimad Bhagavatam class discussion, join few minutes early to listen to Kirtan and prepare your consciousness to receive Srimad Bhagavatam in awe and reverence. And we have also discussed that to relish Srimad Bhagavatam means what all you can apply on a day-to-day basis from each chapter. So far from chapter 1, many of you already have so many Sanskrit words and verses memorized, and these have stuck in your head. All these are ways to relish and remember Krishna via Srimad Bhagavatam verses and the key words. So I gave the example to relish Srimad Bhagavatam is that when you do your japa, when the mind wanders, try to bring the mind back by remembering these key words or the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam or even Bhagavad Gita verses. And you can use this to bring your mind back, and this way you will relish your japa. Right now, I don't have taste for japa. I'm trying to complete Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Just to finish, just to put a tick mark on the 16 rounds. So when you relish Srimad Bhagavatam this way, you will bring your mind back on listening to the japa more attentively. And we have also discussed that we need to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam in a submissive and an attentive manner. So chapter 2 that we will start discussing today is super heavy chapter and lot of practical points coming up for discussion starting from today. My spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshikadas Adhikari's instruction for all his disciples is to memorize this entire chapter 2 of Canto 1. It is that important a chapter. So the reason for keeping this inquiry as the last inquiry is that on a go-forward basis for your spiritual endeavor of striking points, you can also include some practical points that you can apply on a day-to-day basis. Does that answer the question? All 4 questions were super heavy today.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, I will bring up striking points. So we have 3 slides. This is slide number 1. Slide 2. Slide 3, I have this point highlighted in yellow, point number 14. I request all of you to please let me know your thoughts on this highlighted point. Please read and let me know before we go forward. What do you think about this point?
Can I, Prabhu?
Archana, go ahead.
Yeah, here the sentence is Lord Krishna also have a material quality. Whenever Lord Krishna come in the material world, he come in a transcendental form. He never carry any material quality.
Yeah, very good. Rest of you? What happens when you read the attached point number 14?
Prabhu, Lord Krishna is transcendental in his planetary expansions or his incarnations. There is no material quality.
Okay, very good. Anybody else wants to add anything? So both correct points.
Can I add one more point, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Archana, go ahead.
As the in striking point, it's saying that incarnations such as Srila Vyasadeva. Yeah, Srila Vyasadeva is a Krishna, but he came with some kind of intelligence. He didn't come with full opulences. So he is a Krishna, but he come with limited power.
Okay, very good. Correct points. So here's the correct statement. So I crossed out the lines and I have inserted, highlighted in green. So Lord Krishna has no material qualities. And Srila Vyasadeva is an incarnation of the Lord. He is at the same level at the Vishnu Tattva level. And as Archana correctly pointed out, that Srila Vyasadeva came with a specific purpose. So he's a Shakti Avesha avatar with a specific task. And Brahmaji is a Guna avatar. So we'll cover this in upcoming chapter 3, Canto 1. And the last statement in point number 14 is correct. So I didn't cross out that the source of all incarnations is Lord Krishna. Everybody on the same page in terms of the crossed out point and the correct point? Monarch Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhuji, one small question here. So here the word Guna Avatar. So the word avatar and incarnation, both of these words are similar words, or is there any difference between these two?
You are correct. Both are one and the same. Just avatar is a Sanskrit or a Hindi word. It's the same as incarnation.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Shivangi?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, Srila Vyasadeva is a Shakti Avesha avatar, meaning he's not the Vishnu Tattva, or he is?
He is still at the Vishnu Tattva. So just as Archana correctly pointed out that he came with a specific task of writing down the literature. He still is at the Vishnu. Srila Vyasadeva is still at the Vishnu Tattva.
What is the Shakti Avesha avatar?
Shakti Avisha avatar means that they come with a special task, with a special purpose to execute a particular task given to them. I mean, all incarnations do come that way, but they also perform other leelas. So Srila Vyasadeva came for a particular task of writing down all the scriptures, and that's what he did.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Rest of you on the same page?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes.
So those were the 3 slides for the striking points. Any questions, comments, realizations? Divya?
Prabhuji, I have a question. So the other avatars of the Lord, like the Shakti Avesha and Guna avatar, do we have to see them all at the same level then? Like, is it equivalent to like the Narsimha avatar and all that, or they are at different levels? Like,
So we'll cover this in Canto 1, Chapter 3 about incarnation. So there are many categories of incarnations. And so Guna Avatar, as I mentioned about Brahmaji, is the Guna Avatar is one category. And Vishnu Tattva level, so Lord Krishna, Narsimhadev, Lord Ram, Vishnu, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are all at the Vishnu Tattva level. Yes, they are all incarnations. They are all at the Vishnu Tattva level, and they are all identical to Krishna. Divya?
so the Shakti Avesha avatar as well would be identical, would be at the Vishnu Tattva level.
Not all. So Srila
Not
Prabhupada
all.
Srila Prabhupada is also a Shakti Avisha avatar, because Srila
Okay.
Prabhupada also came with a specific task. So it's not a generalized statement that you can make for Shakti Avisha avatars. You have to see who it is.
Okay, but the general principle then is that all of the Lord's avatars, regardless of what category, they are all transcendental. That is the general principle.
Yeah, that point is correct, that they are all transcendental. There's no doubt about it. You are correct.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Kunal Prabhu?
So, Prabhuji, in the Bhagavad Gita, like Krishna says, right, Aham Sarvasva Prabho Mattasalam Pravati. So, like everything, like even the material and spiritual energies emanate from him.
Yeah.
Then why are we saying that Krishna has no material quality?
Yeah, so everything comes from him, including the material energy, the Pradhan, and the material world manifested from the Pradhan. But that does not mean that Krishna becomes material. Right? There's still a difference in terms of Krishna continues to maintain his identity. So if you read chapter 7, verse number 12, Bhagavad Gita. Read Kunal Prabhu right now if you can. And Krishna says that in chapter 7 from verse number 8 onwards, Krishna gives that I am the taste of water, I am ability in many, gives so many examples. And then in 7.12, Krishna goes on to say that I am not restricted to all what I am describing. I still have my separate identity and existence in the spiritual world. Kunal Prabhu, 7.12, if you want to read.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Let me pull. So 7.12 is know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance are manifested by my energy. I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within.
Right. So it's a direct answer that what you just said, that from 10.8 that you correctly quoted, and very nice remembrance of the Sanskrit line also. Krishna says in the very first line that all these modes are manifested by my energy. Right? Everything comes from Krishna. And then he says that I am still independent. I still have my own existence as the Shyam Sundar in Golok Vrindavan. Kunal Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Correct.
Very good. Nitya.
Prabhu, just a clarification. All the planetary expansions of the Lord have all the qualities, while the incarnations only have some of the qualities. Is that correct?
So this is described with an analogy of the light bulb. So all incarnations of Krishna have all the qualities. It is just that not all qualities are manifested. Just as in a light bulb example, that in a small room, you will put on a small bulb of a small wattage. So just because you put on a small size bulb does not restrict the power of electricity. So all these incarnations that they come, they are all at Vishnu Tattva. It's just that only the required opulences are manifested, not everything. But when Krishna comes, all opulences are manifested in 100%. Plus, when Krishna comes, all other incarnations, which are infinite in number, they are all also simultaneously manifested within the body of Krishna. Nitya?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations? Okay, so you can now take turns to answer the homework questions. So everybody should try to answer. Last class, few answered, others should take turns. We only have so many questions. I don't give you everything. So take turns and try to answer. Somebody?
Can I go for first question, Prabhu?
Go ahead, Archana.
So first question is, list the quality representative of Srila Vyasa Dev. So the quality of Srila Vyasa Dev, the first one is free from vice. Second is Aditani, well read in the scriptures. Third is you have to also explain the scripture. Akhyantani. The fourth is you have to have knowledge of Srila Vyasadeva. And submissive. Nigya Sayani.
Snigdasya, yeah.
And sixth is gentle.
Yeah, very good. Very
Umayasya.
good. Soumya, yeah, very good. Very
Umayasya, yeah.
All correct points. Very good. Rest of you, Divya.
Prabhuji, I can try answering the second question.
Yep.
I'm just reading from my notes. The qualities of people in the age of Kali. First one is they have less lifespan, Alpa Ayush. Second is they are quarrelsome. Third is lazy or Manda. Fourth is misguided. Fifth is Mandha Bhagya. I think this is unlucky. And sixth is Upadrata. Their mind is always disturbed, distressed. Therefore, spirituality is very difficult.
Okay, very good. Very good remembrance of the Sanskrit words also. Who else wants to try the last question?
Prabhu, I can.
Go ahead, Nitya.
Identify the sixth question of the sages to Sita Goswami. The first one is Shreya and Sadhana. What is the absolute and ultimate good for all the people? The second is Tara. What is the essence of all scriptures for the good of all living beings? The third question, Yatha. Why did Lord Krishna appear as the son of Vasudeva? Fourth, Leela. Adventures in various incarnations, the Purusha Avatara. Leela Avatar, that's the fifth question. Narrate the pastimes of the Lord's multi-incarnation. And the last question was Saranam, which is where have the religious principles gone for shelter after Lord left to his abode?
Very good. All correct points. Very good. So it's not about right or wrong. It's more about endeavor. And when you do these spiritual endeavors, if you find it difficult, you can do it together with some other devotee, just as Zizel and Malti also correctly identified all these answers, and they did it correctly. Sorry, not correct. They did it collectively. So you can also try this. Instead of not attempting, you can use the energy of other devotees to continue the spiritual endeavor. Okay, so there's a question posted in the chat. I will read the question. Can one incarnation of the Lord show the form of another incarnation? The meaning of all incarnations come with Lord Krishna is not clear. Does this not happen with other avatars? So that it's a two-part question. So can one incarnation of the Lord show the form of other incarnations? So this is described, and we discussed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 that to ensure nobody claims himself as God, Arjuna asked this question and asked Krishna and the universal form to show all three forms. So Krishna in chapter 11 universal form discussion, Krishna, the Shyam Sundar form, transformed himself into the universal form. And then the universal form transformed into the four-handed Vishnu form, and then the four-handed Vishnu form transformed back to Shyam Sundar. So this is the standard of to know if somebody is God or not. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also had demonstrated the universal form. That means Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also Krishna, God. So it is possible for incarnations at the level of Krishna Tattva or Vishnu Tattva to show the other forms, and which we know from this example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because it's Krishna, it's just coming in different incarnation. Does that answer the first part? And then I will answer the second part.
So, Prabhuji, just to clarify, like, when Krishna comes as other incarnations, like Lord Ram or Varahadev, so in that form also, if he desires, he can show the form of Shyam Sundar or Krishna.
Yeah, you are correct. Yeah, it's Krishna. He can do whatever he likes. Yeah, when he has come in these forms at Lord Varaha or Lord Narsimha or Lord Ram, it is possible for him to show all other forms. It's just that it has not happened. There was no need for him to show those other forms, but there's no restriction to not show the other forms. Abhishek Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Clear. This part is clear.
The second part, the meaning of all incarnations come with Lord Krishna is not clear. So does this not happen with other avatars? So, yeah. So when Krishna comes himself in his original form, such as Krishna coming as Narsimhadev or Lord Ram, they are identical personalities. They carry everything, meaning but Krishna is still the original candle, meaning Krishna. So Krishna and Lord Ram are identical personalities, are the original candle in the candle analogy that we have discussed. In this incarnation, Krishna and Lord Ram, all other incarnations are within them. But when, say, Krishna has appeared as Srila Vyasadeva, other incarnations are not within Srila Vyasadeva. Yes, he is still incarnation of Krishna, but not exactly with all the opulences as Krishna has. Abhishek Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Nitya?
Prabhu,
Yes.
so Lord Vishnu would also be at the same identical as Lord Krishna, as Narasimha, Lord Rama.
So there, Lord Vishnu is at the Vishnu Tattva or the Krishna Tattva level, but does not have 100% way that Krishna comes. So when Krishna comes, Vishnu is within Krishna. Therefore, in the Kurukshetra war, Krishna did not kill anyone. It's the Vishnu form of Krishna that did all the killing in the Kurukshetra war, as well as the demons, except Putna is an exception that Krishna killed himself. And therefore, there is a difference when Krishna kills versus when the Vishnu form of Krishna kills. When Krishna killed Putna, Putna went back to Goloka Vrindavan. Versus when the Vishnu form of Krishna kills, yes, they achieve spiritual destinations, but that depends on certain other factors in terms of their rasa and few other factors as well. But when Vishnu comes, Krishna does not come within Vishnu. It's only that when Krishna comes, that Vishnu is within Krishna. Vishnu is within Krishna. Nitya?
Thanks, Prabhu. So only Lord Narasimha, Lord Rama, Lord Krishna on the same level?
So Lord Krishna and Lord Rama are identical personalities. Lord Narasimha should be also identical to Krishna. In Canto 7, this discussion comes up where Lakshmi Devi says, I have never seen my Lord in this form. So yes, but do understand that when you inquire about these points about the Lord, everybody can, or I can answer only so much from what is available in the scriptures. Keep asking me everything about the Lord and his incarnations. Not everybody knows about the Lord. In the entire creation, there are only 3 individuals who know everything about the Lord, which is one is Srila Narad Muni, Sadashiva, and Lord Kapila. So these are the 3 individuals who know everything about the Lord in terms of personal details. So I can only answer so much in terms of the personality and the personal details. But let me know if that answers your question.
Thank you, Prabhu. It's a complicated question, and it goes with what you've told us, that some things we may not understand at all, that there may not be a answer like in anything that we have in this case.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Divya?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I just wanted some clarification. Lord Ram means like the Ram, Lakshman, Sita avatar, or Lord Ram is referring to Balram Dev?
Lord Ram is referring to Lord Ram in the Ramayana Leela, and Lakshman in the Ramayana Leela is Lord Balram.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Everybody on the same page? Any last questions, comments, realizations? All right. So we will continue our study with Canto 1, Chapter 2. All of you did super excellent endeavor in terms of completing these tracking points and inquiries, as well as trying to answer the questions. So don't you all have this chapter 1 already engraved in your mind? Everybody? Somebody?
Yes, Prabhu. The way that the discussion and the endeavors have really, really helped to solidify.
Okay. Rest of you, isn't chapter 1 of Canto 1 already engraved in you? Okay. Only Nitya. All right. Very good. Okay. So Canto 1 is titled Creation. Unit 1 is titled Introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam. Unit 1 will run up to chapter 3, part number 4 of 5. Chapter 2 is titled Divinity and Divine Service. Chapter 2 is divided into 6 parts. This Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2 is a very important chapter. My spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshikadas Adhikari, has said at many lectures, as well as is a direct instruction for all his disciples to memorize this entire chapter 2. This chapter 2 also has similarities with Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 in terms of statistical analysis. Does anybody remember what important point about verse count do you remember from Bhagavad Gita chapter 9? Anybody?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, 34.
Okay, very good. 34 count of verses. Very good. Both chapter 9 Bhagavad Gita and chapter 2 Canto 1 also both have 34 verses. Very good. Nitya?
Prabhu, I believe that it is the verse 9.14-15 are the exact middle of Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, very good. Yeah, very good. The correct point. But so Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 has 34 verses, and 50% of chapter 9 verses are key verses. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2 has 34 verses, and 50% of these verses, more than 50% of these verses are key verses. Essentially, the whole chapter is important. So part 1 is verses 1 to 5. Suta Goswami's reply. So in here, Suta Goswami offers respects to Sukadev Goswami, Srila Vyasadeva, and Suta Goswami also appreciates the inquiries of the sages. Part 2 is verses 6 to 11. Pure devotion to Krishna is the supreme dharma. 1.2.6 is the answer to question 1 of the sages from 1.1.9. Question 1 was, what is Shreyas? The answer is develop love of God through bhakti is in 1.2.6 and 7. And 1.2.7 is the answer to question 2 of the sages from 1.1.11, that what is the essence of all scriptures? The answer is devotional service is the essence. Part 3 is verses 12 to 22. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is the process for achieving pure devotion to Krishna. Part 4 is verses 23 to 29. Krishna or Vasudev is the supreme goal of life. Part 5, verses 30 to 33. Purusha Avatar, create and maintain. Here the answer to question number 4 of the sages from 1.1.17 gets answered. Part 6 is verse number 34. Incarnations appear to reclaim fallen souls. This is the answer to question number 3 from the sages from 1.1.12. So sages have asked 6 questions in chapter 1, and in this chapter 2, Sutta Goswami gives brief answers to 4 of those 6 questions. So we'll start with part 1, which is verses 1 to 5. Sutta Goswami's reply, where Sutta Goswami will offer respects to Sukadeva Goswami, Srila Vyasadeva, and will also appreciate the inquiries of the sages. Kunal Prabhu, verse number 1 translation is pretty straightforward.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, Ugrasava Suta Goswami, the son of Roma Harshana, being fully satisfied by the perfect question of the Brahmanas, thanked them and thus attempted to reply. Correct.
It's a pretty straightforward words that Sutta Goswami is thanking the sages for their question. In verses 2 to 4, Sutta Goswami offers obeisances and respects. So a sincere disciple never thinks he knows better than his guru. Disciple knows that he is speaking because of Guru's mercy, and the disciple is only repeating. Pragya, verse number 2 translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Srila Sutta Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the great sage Sukadev Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all. When he went away to take up the renounced order of life, sannyasa, leaving home without undergoing reformation by the sacred thread or the ceremonies observed by higher castes, his father Vyasadeva, fearing separation from him, cried out, 'O my son, indeed only the trees which were absorbed in the same feelings of separation echoed in response to the grieved father.'"
So Sutta Goswami offers obeisances and prayers to Sukadeva Goswami. In the purport, Prabhupada explains the various terms such as Dvija, Vipra, Brahmana, and Vaishnavas. So a spiritual master will only initiate a sincere disciple. Thus, the ordinary conditioned soul takes second birth and he is known as Dvija. After qualifying as Dvija and after being well versed in Vedic scriptures, one becomes a Vipra. Vipra means qualified Brahmana. The Vipra or the qualified Brahmana makes further progress in spiritual life until he becomes a Vaishnava. So, Vipra are expert in karma kanda or fruitative activities, and they guide society towards fulfilling material needs. Brahmanas are expert in spiritual knowledge of transcendence. So just a slight difference. They are all Brahmanas, just the focus is slightly different. And when a Brahmana achieves perfection, they are called Vaishnavas. So Vaishnava is a self-realized, learned Brahmana. Vaishnava stage is postgraduate status of a Brahmana. Now we read in the verse number 2 that Srila Vyasadeva is calling out his son. Now Srila Vyasadeva is not calling out his son so that the son will take care of Srila Vyasadeva when Srila Vyasadeva becomes old. No, that's not the purpose. Srila Vyasadeva was calling for his son so that Vyasadeva would feed the Srimad Bhagavatam cream to his son. Matan Prabhu, verse number 3 translation.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him, Suga, the spiritual master of all sages, the son of Vyasadeva, who, out of his great compassion for those gross materialists who struggle to cross over darkest regions of material existence, spoke this most confidential supplement to the cream of Vedic knowledge after having personally assimilated it by experience. Hare Krishna.
So, in this verse, 4 extraordinary characteristics of Srimad Bhagavatam are explained. The words are there in the verse, the Sanskrit verse. I will go to the verse and we will discuss. So the first is Swanubhavam, right here. Means self-assimilated, that Srimad Bhagavatam could attract even a realized soul like Sukadeva Goswami. Then the next characteristics is Akhila Shruti Saram. Right, the next word means Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Srimad Bhagavatam is the cream of all Vedic knowledge. The next characteristics is Ekam. That Srimad Bhagavatam is the one unrivaled commentary on Vedanta Sutra. The next and the fourth category is Adhyatma Deepam. That Srimad Bhagavatam is the transcendental torchlight by which one can see perfectly the transcendental absolute truth, realized in 3 stages as Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, and Bhagwan realization. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 13, verse number 7. So Canto 12, Chapter 13 is the last chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 12, of course, is the last canto also. So just as Ganga is the greatest of all the rivers, Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas. Let's read paragraph number 1. Dipanshu Prabhu, paragraph number 1.
Hare Krishna. In this prayer, Srila Suta Goswami practically summarizes the complete introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural supplementary commentary on the Vedanta Sutras. The Vedanta Sutras or the Brahma Sutras were compiled by Vyasadeva with a view to presenting just the cream of Vedic knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on this cream. Srila Sukadeva Goswami was a thoroughly realized master on the Vedanta Sutra, and consequently he also personally realized the commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam. And just to show his boundless mercy upon bewildered materialistic man who want to cross completely over nations, he recited for the first time this confirmation knowledge.
Okay, very good. We discussed this about Srimad Bhagavatam as the cream of Vedic knowledge in our question answer session as the answer to question 1. Okay, let's read Shivangi, paragraph number 2.
Hare Krishna. There is no point in arguing that a materialistic man can be happy. No materialistic creature, be he the great Brahma or an insignificant ant, can be happy. Everyone tries to make a permanent plan for happiness, but everyone is baffled by the laws of material nature. Therefore, the materialistic world is called the darkest region of God's creation. Yet the unhappy materialists can get out of it simply by desiring to get out. Unfortunately, they are so foolish that they do not want to escape. Therefore, they are compared to the camel who relishes thorny twigs because he likes the taste of the twigs mixed with blood. He does not realize that it is his own blood and that his tongue is being cut by the thorns. Similarly, to the materialist, his own blood is as sweet as honey, and although he is always harassed by his own material creations, he does not wish to escape. Such materialists are called karmis. Out of hundreds of thousands of karmis, only a few may feel tired of material engagement and desire to get out of the labyrinth. Such intelligent persons are called jnanis. The Vedanta Sutra is directed to such jnanis. But Srila Vyasadeva, being the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, could foresee the misuse of the Vedanta Sutra by unscrupulous men, and therefore he personally supplemented the Vedanta Sutra with the Bhagavata Purana. It is clearly said that this Bhagavatam is the original commentary on the Brahma Sutras. Srila Vyasadeva also instructed the Bhagavatam to his own son, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, who was already at the liberated stage of transcendence. Srila Sukadeva Goswami realized it personally and then explained it. By the mercy of Srila Shukadeva, the Bhagavata Vedanta Sutra is available for all those sincere souls who want to get out of material existence. Hare Krishna.
Okay, very good. So unhappy materialistic people is described in here with an analogy of the camel sucking his own blood. Questions, comments, realizations? Okay. So verse number 4 all the way to verse number 21 are all key memorization verses. So I will share on screen the key memorization verses for Canto 1, 2, and 3. So this is directly from my Srimad Bhagavatam Bhakti Vaibhav course. It's an extract from the handbook. So the top part of the verses are mandatory verses to memorize, and the bottom part of on the table are that we have to memorize count of few verses from these, but they are essentially all key memorization verses. And you can see bottom part for Canto 1, Chapter 2 from 4 all the way to 21, essentially all the verses are key verses. So take a snapshot of this. I have given you key verses for Bhagavad Gita, and at least for the first 3 cantos, you have it in front of you. Take a snapshot. Okay, so verse number 4 is a key memorization verse, and almost all acharyas recite this verse in their invocation prayers. So I will recite the Sanskrit, and then we will unmute and recite one line after me, please. So 1.2.4 Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye. Everybody, please unmute and recite one line after me, please. Narayanam namaskritya
Narayanam
Narayanam
namaskrityam
namaskritya
naram chaiva narottamam
naram chaiva narottamam
devim saraswatim vyasam
devim
Saraswati
saraswatim
Vyasam
vyasam
tato jayam udiraye.
tato
Tato
jayam
jayam
udiraye.
udiraye.
Jai mudirayate ye.
Abhishek Prabhu, translation please.
Translation. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Nar Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
So read the in the last line in the last paragraph in the purport. Can read Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana. Read the last line.
No. This may be followed by persons who aspire to be preachers of the Vedic literatures and the Puranas. Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana, and it is especially meant for them who desire to get out of the material entanglement permanently.
So there was a question at the last class whether those who are not Nirmat Saranam, whether they can read Srimad Bhagavatam. Here's an additional reference that yes, those who want to get out of material entanglement can read Srimad Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana. Questions, comments, realizations? So I said all verses are key verses. We won't memorize all of them, or we won't recite all of them. You are free to recite and memorize all of them. Vidya, if you want to read verse number 5 translation.
Verse number 5 translation. O sages, I have been justly questioned by you. Your questions are worthy because they relate to Lord Krishna and so are of relevance to the world's welfare. Only questions of this sort are capable of completely satisfying the self.
So Sutta Goswami is thanking the sages for the questions, and he gives reasons that why the questions are important, because they relate directly to Krishna, and this will satisfy everyone. So these words are again very important. So the word Krishna Sampersna means questions are worthy because they relate to Krishna. And then Yena Atma Suprasiddhati, that only such questions, only such discussions on Krishna Katha can satisfy the soul, can satisfy the Atma. So this Yena Atma Suprasiddhati, this will get answered. The words, these will come in 1.2.6 very soon. We'll be discussing in a minute now. And the other word in the second line is Bhava Adhir Loka Mangalam. That such questions are relevant for the welfare of the whole world, because people in the material world, they may seem to be satisfied, but they are only temporarily satisfied. Hence, they get frustrated again and again and again. Therefore, they want something new all the time. because they are not satisfied with any material object. Therefore, Sutta Goswami is saying to the sages that your questions are worthy because they relate to Krishna, Samparno. And therefore, they are relevant for the world's welfare. Bhava Adbhir Loka Mangalam. Let's read the purport, last 2-3 lines, which starts, because the Srimad Bhagavatam deals with questions. So, Vidya, you want to continue?
I
Divya?
start from the whole world, right, Prabhuji?
Right, just the last few lines. Here it says, Srimad Bhagavatam deals
Okay,
with
Prabhuji.
question and answer.
Okay. So, Hare Krishna, because the Srimad Bhagavatam deals with questions and answers that are related to Krishna, we can derive the highest satisfaction only by reading and hearing this transcendental literature. One should learn the Srimad Bhagavatam and make an all-around solution to all problems pertaining to social, political, or religious matters. Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna are the sum total of all things. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Any questions, comments, realizations? Anish Prabhu?
So when it says you deal with questions and answers that are related to Krishna, we can derive the high satisfaction only by reading and hearing this transcendental nature. What exactly do you mean by that? Like how exactly will hearing things only about Krishna help me in my day-to-day life or the problems that I face in this modern world?
Very good. So understand that whatever happens in the material world is temporary. So when you read newspaper, what Anish Prabhu are asking the question is actually going to come up in later part of Srimad Bhagavatam as a almost a direct question. So whatever you read in the material world, say newspapers and magazines, etc., you are reading about materialistic people. What good they do to you? Anish Prabhu can answer, or anybody. What happens when you read newspapers and other magazines? They are about materialistic people.
Well, it depends in what context. Like some people could look at certain people and get motivated from how much work they put into something.
Yeah, but what happens to you?
Nothing really, but you just get motivated.
Correct. Very good. Even if you are motivated to materialistic things. But Krishna, who is transcendental, when you hear about Krishna, when you discuss Krishna Katha, it has the potency to grant you transcendental destination. So this is the potency, that when you hear about Krishna Katha, because Krishna is transcendental, therefore you get transcendental benediction and transcendental results, that you will permanently end the cycle of birth and death when you hear Krishna Katha. Anish Prabhu?
Can you repeat the last?
So when you hear Krishna Katha, because Krishna is transcendental, therefore you also get the results which are transcendental. Versus, we did the comparison that when you read about materialistic people, you don't get out of material world by that. Therefore, hearing about Krishna is the process of Krishna consciousness, and hearing is the path to getting out of the material world. Anish Prabhu?
So it's like for spiritual endeavors, it's the most important thing that is possible.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. We have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita at great length. Oh, okay. So part 2 is verses 6 to 11. Here's our heavy discussion starting for this class today and a practical point. So part 2 verses 6 to 11 is pure devotion to Krishna is the supreme dharma. So Suta Goswami will answer first two questions of the sages. So question 1 from the sages was, what is the ultimate good? What is Shreyas? And question number 2 is, what is the essence of all literature? So 1.2.6 is the answer to question 1 of the sages from 1.1.9, and 1.2.7 is the answer to question number 2 of the sages from 1.1.11. So these 6 verses in chapter 2, verses 6 to 11 are very important verses. Srila Prabhupada has roughly 20 some lectures on these 6 verses of chapter 2, verses 6 to 11. Verse number 6 is obviously a very important verse. And this verse number 6 is a very famous verse, and Srila Prabhupada has about 8 lectures on this just one verse alone. Verse number 6 and 7 explains pure devotion to Krishna. And verse number 8, to further substantiate the answer in 6 and 7, in verse number 8, Suta Goswami goes on to say that any dharma or any activity that we do is useless labor if it does not lead to Krishna bhakti. Verse number 9 and 10 explain that the purpose of life is to inquire about absolute truth, and purpose of life is not sense gratification. Verse number 11 describes absolute truth in 3 features. So verse number 6 we will definitely recite, and I will first recite and then you all can unmute and recite. So 1.2.6, Sa vai pumsam paro dharma yato bhakti radokshaje ahetu ki apratahita yayatma suprasiddhati. Unmute yourself and recite one line after me, please. Vijay Prabhu, if you can please stay unmuted. There's a background noise. Okay. 1.2.6. Sa vai pumsam paro dharma yato bhakti radokshaje ahetu ki apratahita yayatma suprasiddhati. Pragya, translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Did you ask me?
Yeah, Pragya, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be motivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self.
So, paro dharma says paro dharma. Paro dharma means supreme occupation. Now, what is paro dharma? What practice entails paro dharma? And what does bhakti mean? How do you do bhakti? All of you, please answer. What does bhakti mean, and how do you do bhakti? Somebody, everybody. So we all keep saying we need to do bhakti. Okay, then what is bhakti and how do you do bhakti? Somebody?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Your voice is very soft. I cannot hear you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Monak Prabhu, go ahead.
Prabhu, so bhakti means to satisfy Krishna's senses.
Okay, what satisfies Krishna? So that's a philosophical answer. What satisfies Krishna?
Prabhu, unfailing devotional service under all circumstances.
Okay, but what activity pleases Krishna? So correct points. Shivangi also said Sarva Upadi Vinirmuktam. Okay, good answers. What else? What does bhakti mean? How do you do bhakti?
Chanting Mahamantra and remembering Krishna forever.
Okay, very good. Correct point. Rest of you. Zizel says doing service with love to Krishna. Okay, good point.
Prabhuji, to be with devotees who are similarly also into Krishna consciousness.
Okay, all these are philosophical answers. But how do you do bhakti? Vijay Prabhu says,
Isn't it?
Kirtanya Sada Hari. Okay, good point. Anish Prabhu, go ahead.
Isn't it by whatever you do in life, you do it for Krishna? So like if you're gonna sing, you sing for Krishna by doing kirtan. If you're gonna work, you work to spread Krishna consciousness, whatever field of line.
Okay, good points. Giselle says following instructions of Guru, good point. Still doesn't say how do you do bhakti?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I?
Mansi, go ahead.
So the 9 processes of devotional service, that is hearing, chanting, and
Very
remembering,
good.
the serving the lotus feet of Krishna, deity worship, praying, then all that, all 9.
Yeah, very good. Mansi has the correct answer. So Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23 has the 9 processes of devotional service. I will bring up on screen. These 9 processes are what pleases Krishna. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevanam, Archanam, Vandyam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedam. This is how you practice bhakti. So many of you correctly pointed out about hearing, chanting, doing kirtan. Yes. Here, these 9 activities are how you practice bhakti, are how one pleases Krishna. Yes, we have to engage in bhakti to please Krishna. But what is Paro Dharma is 7.5.23. Now, Varnashram Dharma is not Paro Dharma. Varnashram Dharma is just an intermediate step for you to regulate your life if you are not strong enough to regulate by yourself. Therefore, we have to know what is Paro Dharma. That 7.5.23 are the 9 activities of bhakti that we do as Paro Dharma. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains Pravarti Marg. So Pravarti Marg is the path of sense enjoyment, and this is inferior path because there is no happiness at all. There is just futile attempt to get rid of miseries. So temporary cessation of misery is falsely called as happiness. In reality, in the material world, there is no happiness. So Pravarti Marg is inferior because it is temporary, miserable, and illusory. And then there is Nivritti Marg. This is the path, Nivritti Marg is the path of renunciation. The path of sacrifice for supreme cause is superior. So actual life is spiritual existence, which is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Devotional service to the Supreme Lord leads one to such an eternal, blissful life. And therefore, devotional service to the Supreme Lord is called superior quality of occupation. Now, the primary characteristics of parodharma are explained in the third line as ahituki and apratahita. So, ahituki means causeless, that devotional service to the Lord must be pure without any desire for material enjoyment. And apratahita means unbroken, that you have to, one of you answered that you have to do unmotivated devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse. And the secondary characteristics of parodharma are the last line, yayatma suprasiddhati. So these words, yayatma suprasiddhati, were there in the previous verse. That yayatma suprasiddhati means completely satisfies the soul. Yayatma, atma means the soul. Yayatma suprasiddhati. So very beautiful verse. Savai pumsam paro dharma yato bhakti radokshaje ahetuki apratahita yayatma suprasiddhati. Now the second line, yato bhakti adokshaje, is also important, of course, that it refers to which, when we do bhakti, to whom we have to do bhakti. We have to do bhakti to adokshaje. Adokshaje is just another name of Krishna. That we have to do bhakti as our parodharma to adokshaje, which is ahetuki apratahita, and the result will be yayatma suprasiddhati. Questions, comments, realizations?
I have a question. So bhakti means just chanting and doing devotional service. Like bhakti is like a big broad general term, yes?
You are correct. Bhakti is broad term, and therefore we determine what activity in bhakti pleases Krishna. Therefore we discuss 7.5.23 verse. The 9 processes of bhakti are what pleases Krishna. That's how we do bhakti. Matan Prabhu?
Okay. Because different people have different understanding of bhakti.
Yeah, you are correct. And we therefore defined what does bhakti mean.
Yes, thank you.
Pradya?
Prabhuji, such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self.
Yeah.
So we are satisfying the self, or unmotivated to satisfy the self.
No, you are satisfying the self. The unmotivated is about your devotional services, unmotivated, and the result will be yayatma suprasiddhati, that the soul will be satisfied.
But isn't that a motivation that you are trying to satisfy the self?
Yeah, it is. It is not that the soul will do that. I want to be satisfied. He's just doing the devotional service as his intrinsic nature, and the result is described, that the soul will get satisfied. The soul is doing ahituki apratahita bhakti, that causeless and unbroken, without worrying about the results. It's just that the result is described, that by doing ahituki apratahita bhakti, the result will be yayatma suprasiddhati, that the soul will be completely satisfied.
So Prabhuji, when we say that devotional services should be such that it should satisfy Krishna, not yourself. So is it that conflict, or this is same as that?
It's the same as that our bhakti, when it says ahituki apratahita, means you are trying to satisfy Krishna. And the byproduct of satisfying Krishna is that yayatma suprasiddhati, that the soul also gets satisfied.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So verse number 7. Now, as we'll read, at least Debbie and Zizel will remember from our last discussion, when my Guru Maharaj was here and we were doing services, they were asking, how do I remember all these verses? Well, I already gave you a list of these verses that they are all key memorization verses. And as part of my study, I have to actually pass the exam to memorize. So my spiritual master on that particular lecture had also quoted, without giving the reference, he had quoted this verse 1.2.7, and I was giving, and Debbie was so inspired that she goes on to ask my spiritual master the benediction that I also want to learn to memorize all these verses, and my Guru Maharaj did bless her for that. So very good, very good. So of course this is also a key memorization verse. So I will recite, we won't recite all the verses. I will definitely recite 1.2.7. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Asu Vairagam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahitukam. Zizel, translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Hare Krishna.
So here's a question for you all. Is knowledge and detachment a limb of bhakti? Everybody, very important, heavy discussion. Have undivided attention and try to answer this question. Is knowledge and detachment a limb of bhakti?
Yes.
Okay. Rest of you, quickly.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Rest of you.
Yes, Prabhu.
No, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Nitya, what's your answer?
Yes, Prabhu. It is actually a byproduct.
Okay. My question is knowledge and detachment a limb of bhakti?
Prabhu, can you clarify, like, what do you mean by limb here? Like, just
Yeah, limb of bhakti. So the bhakti has various ways you can do bhakti. So is knowledge and detachment a limb of bhakti? So
but I think no, like the way you describe limb, in the sense that if it is needed for bhakti.
Okay, so I have only few no's. Rest others who have answered are saying yes. Everybody, please try to answer. Very important discussion.
Prabhuji,
Yes,
can you
Prabhu.
please repeat what you said by limb? Can you kindly
Limb
repeat?
means that the way you practice bhakti, the processes of bhakti, is knowledge and detachment a limb of bhakti or not?
No, Prabhuji, again, if what earlier answer was that it is a result of bhakti rather than limb of bhakti.
Okay, very good. Rest of you, please answer.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Nancy, go ahead.
So knowledge and detachment are Gyan and Vairagya. So they are the son of Bhakti.
Okay. Rest of you have not answered.
Prabhuji,
no.
Chandran Prabhu, go ahead.
This is the process towards the bhakti.
Okay. Dipanshu Prabhu.
Prabhuji, knowledge and bhakti are like Gyan and Vairagya. So they are like sons of Bhakti Devi, I've heard in Bhagavatam.
Yes, so you said Jnana and Bhakti, but
Gyan and
actually
Vairagya.
meant Jnana and Vairagya. Okay. Okay, so results of Bhakti, Shivangi says results of Bhakti are knowledge and detachment. Okay. Anybody, any last one wants to try? There's a very heavy discussion. I will soon be devil's advocate to both sides of the answer. Okay. So there are certain cultivation of jnana and vairagya that can help us establish our foot in bhakti and in Krishna consciousness. So verse number 7 says, pure devotion to Krishna, which is Vasudeve Bhagavati, Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. The pure devotion to Krishna produces jnana and vairagyam. So it says janati asu vairagyam jnanam cha. Now, independently getting jnana cannot provide proper and cannot provide full results. You cannot get bhakti by independently getting jnana. By devotional service, knowledge and detachment are the byproducts. So many of you correctly pointed out. So there is cultivation of certain jnana and certain vairagya, which can help us get footage in bhakti and Krishna consciousness. So there is certain cultivation of certain jnana, which is actually a limb of bhakti. To understand the distinction between the two types of jnana, meaning the jnana that is a limb of bhakti and a jnana that is not a limb of bhakti, let's understand what Srila Rupa Goswami has given the definition of pure devotional service in Nectar of Devotion. In Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. Right? Everybody remembers? What's this? Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. So that's the first line. And the second line says, Jnana Karmadi Anavratam. So first line says Shunyam, that we have to give up all Abhilasha, all material desires. All other desires have to be zero. But the second line, it does not say Jnana Karma Shunyam. The second line says Jnana Karma Adi Anavratam. Anavratam means to uncover. So certain knowledge covers our bhakti and you must discard that knowledge that covers your bhakti. And then there is cultivation of certain knowledge. It is going to help bhakti. You should not discard that knowledge. So let's understand at a practical level. The first straightforward answer as to what knowledge is not and what knowledge is a limb of bhakti. So cultivation of impersonal knowledge, like studying Vedas and Upanishads to attain Brahman effulgence. Mayavadis and Jnanis do this. So we don't need such knowledge at all. Such impersonal knowledge is definitely not a limb of bhakti. Now, certain knowledge does not cover bhakti. Rather, certain knowledge helps you in your bhakti. Example, we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is speaking about form, qualities, sweetness of the Supreme Lord. So even at the stage of sadhana, when I have not yet realized the sweetness of Krishna's qualities and pastimes, still I read Srimad Bhagavatam because reading Srimad Bhagavatam is a limb of bhakti. This knowledge is going to help my footage in bhakti and Krishna consciousness. So such cultivation of knowledge is a limb of bhakti. Now, second, let us also discuss about common worldly day-to-day knowledge with an example whether the worldly day-to-day knowledge is a limb of bhakti or not. So everybody will answer. I will give you a scenario and everybody will answer. So a close friend of yours forces you to come with him or her to watch a new movie. And you obviously initially will say no. Now this friend of yours uses his emotional attachment and he says, "You Hare Krishna people, you have no feelings. Therefore, you end up going to the movie with this friend." Now, if a friend had asked you to go to a bar, whether or not the friend uses emotional attachment, going to the bar is clearly breaking regulative principles, you will clearly say no. So on the surface, going to watch a movie doesn't really break any regulative principles. So you tell me, everybody try to answer. So the friend emotionally forces you that you are a Krishna people, you have no feelings, therefore you are rejecting to come to the movie, and then because of his emotional blackmail or whatever word you want to use, you end up going to watch this movie with him or her. Question for all of you. What will happen to you when you come back from the movie? Everybody, please answer quickly.
Hare Krishna. The mind distracted and you are forgetting Krishna.
Okay, mind is distracted. Okay, what else? Everybody quickly answer.
Prabhu, I feel guilty that I need not have gone and wasted my time. I would
waste your time. Okay, Abhishek Prabhu.
Thoughts of the movie will occupy our consciousness.
Very good.
And will difficult to remove.
Yeah, your consciousness is contaminated. Very good. Rest of you, please answer.
Same, Prabhuji, there will be distraction, there will be guilt, there will be consciousness, which is about the...
Okay, very good. Vijay Prabhu says, what an illusion of a movie. Okay, very good. Vidya?
Sorry, Prabhuji, I will not be. What they have said is only similar to what I was thinking, Prabhuji.
Okay, very good. So my question is, we came down to the material world knowledge. So do you need this material world knowledge for bhakti or not? That going to the movie is going to distract you from bhakti? Do you need this knowledge or not?
Yes, Prabhu, some of this knowledge we do, so we can reinforce our, sadhana.
Okay, very good. So it has nothing to do with Srimad Bhagavatam. But isn't that knowledge relevant for your bhakti?
Prabhuji, when you were demonstrating that home prasad making, that time you started singing some Bollywood song, and then you took that as a, I forget what exactly did you do. You took that as a, in that love in that song, possibly you took it as love for Krishna. Was it something like that?
No, so while doing the Bhoga offering demonstration, I was demonstrating that the mind will still distract. And as soon as the mind distracts, you bring your mind back as soon as possible. How do you bring your mind back? Is that you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you recite verses. So that was the exercise. It has nothing to do with the love portion of that song that I was humming.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, so everybody, so we are talking about knowledge. So Srimad Bhagavatam reading knowledge I know the answer. Nobody needs to tell me, nobody needs to tell you. Yeah, it's a limb of bhakti. But you tell me that whether or not you go to the movie with your friend, isn't that knowledge required for your footage in bhakti?
Prabhuji, certain rasas from that can be used.
What I don't understand. What do you mean?
Prabhuji, certain like certain kirtan that we use, we sing, we take the tunes and the wordings from some of the movies or certain things that can be used.
It cannot be used at all. So we have discussed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 that if you listen to these Bollywood singers singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is going to contaminate your mind. Yeah, they are singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but they have material motives behind their singing, so it is going to contaminate your mind. Versus if you hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from, say, pure devotees, say Srila Prabhupada or any pure devotee, even if they don't have all these musical instruments, still you find that love and devotion, and they are so attractive. Why? Because the singer, the pure devotee, has love and devotion, and that's why they are singing. So be very careful that don't think that you can use something that you should not use in bhakti.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So let me answer that what will happen to me when I come back from the movie. Some of you correctly pointed out that after coming back from the movie, I am totally disturbed from what I saw on the screen. I need to have this knowledge that because I went to the movie and in 1 hour or so association of this movie, it has destroyed my concentration. Before going to the movie, I had unbroken concentration for the last few months or so. I was doing my Krishna conscious practice without interruption. Everything was smooth. But today, because I watched this movie with my friend, that has disturbed everything. So this is day-to-day worldly knowledge. This is worldly conventional knowledge. But I need to know this, that I am using this conventional knowledge that I should not be going to this movie again. And by even this worldly knowledge, it is going to help my footage in bhakti. So everybody understands in terms of knowledge, what knowledge is not a limb of bhakti is straightforward, that studying Vedas, Upanishads for merging with Brahman effulgence, we don't need that knowledge at all. And what is a knowledge as a limb of bhakti is also straightforward, say studying Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. It's pretty obvious. But then you take the worldly day-to-day knowledge that you determine the worldly day-to-day knowledge of going to a movie or not is also a limb of bhakti, is a knowledge required to help your footage in bhakti. Everybody with me? Questions, comments, realizations? Okay. In the purport for verse number 7, Divya, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So what you're saying is the third type of knowledge, the worldly activities. The thing here is we should have the ability to discern which worldly activities are necessary and what we should avoid.
Absolutely correct understanding. And we have discussed this multiple times, which is described in Bhagavad Gita 18.66 in the purport. Anukulye se sankalpa, pratikulye se varjatam. That going to the movie is pratikul, even though it does not necessarily break any regulative principles, you will still avoid because it is pratikul for bhakti. Divya?
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Very
Kunal
good.
Prabhu?
So, Prabhuji, if the movie is like about Srila Prabhupada's life, then is it okay to go for the movie?
Yeah, we are talking movie example. We are talking about materialistic Bollywood movie. Right? Prabhupada movie is not, yeah, it's made as a movie, but it's not necessarily a movie. It's all about spiritual, right?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. So in verse number 7, purport, Prabhupada explains about charity, that charity is not paro bhakti. Charity is just a pious activity. Bhakti has to be causeless, and bhakti is only because of bhakti. So giving charity or other pious activities, they are not causes of bhakti. Only bhakti is the cause of bhakti. Therefore, we give lot of emphasis on sadhu sangha, because bhakti can be attained through sadhu sangha. When you associate with devotees of Krishna, meaning Guru, Sadhu, and by your service to Guru and Sadhu, Guru is pleased, Krishna is pleased by your endeavor. And Bhakti Devi, who resides in the heart of a pure devotee, transfers that bhakti onto the heart of you all as even if you are neophyte, and this is how your bhakti grows. Everybody with me? Heavy words, heavy discussion?
Yes.
So in the purport for verse number 7, Prabhupada gives in the last line, in conclusion, one who is a pure devotee has all other good qualities, namely knowledge, detachment, etc. But one who has only knowledge or detachment is not necessarily well acquainted with the principles of bhakti. Bhakti is the supermost occupation of the human being. Questions, comments, realizations? We'll go a little over, probably a few minutes, if everybody can please tolerate a little. Okay. Yeah, Pragya, go ahead.
Prabhuji, did we say that charity is not param bhakti? So any kind of charity is not param bhakti?
We have discussed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 17 that charity can be in the modes of ignorance, passion, and goodness. These charity in the modes of ignorance, passion, and goodness, they are not parabhakti. And then we have also discussed the transcendental charity, such as giving Prabhupada's books and Krishna Prasad. That charity is transcendental, that is parabhakti.
Prabhuji, when we said that charity is not param bhakti, I thought it was blanket kind of a thing, but it is not.
Yeah,
like
you are
we
correct.
do this
Yeah,
Food for Life programs in Juhu ISKCON. So I was just wondering whether that is in the nature of pure charity, pure bhakti.
So any charity related with ISKCON is at the transcendental level. It doesn't fall in the modes. And thank you for clarifying that. Yes, may look like we blanketed the word charity as general, but no, there is transcendental charities related with Krishna. That is transcendental. That is bhakti.
Okay.
Nitya, verse number 8 translation. Now, verse number 8 is also pre-memorization. We'll skip. The last line is important. Shrama eva hi kevalam. We'll discuss that. Nitya.
Yes, Prabhu. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own possession are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead.
So dharma, or the occupational activities that we all perform is useless labor, is shrama eva hi kevalam, if it does not lead to Krishna bhakti. So what is Srila Prabhupada's favorite word? Many of you have heard besides rascal. Anybody? So Prabhupada's another favorite word is ism. Ism means you call about humanitarianism or bodyism or whatever related to body and material world. That is Prabhupada's another favorite word, and that all is explained in the purport, verse number 8, that you have own selfishness and then you have extended selfishness, that you first have own selfishness at the bodily level, then you expand it to family members, then you keep expanding it to nation. All these are extended selfishness. The purport, in essence of time, we are skipping reading the purports right now. In the purport, Prabhupada also explains that the need of the soul is to get out of this material entanglement. So dormant affection for God is within all living entities. By our endeavor of our discharge of our prescribed duties, we have to learn to revive our dormant love for Krishna. And hearing and chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra are the only means to revive in this age of Kali Yuga. So these other processes, these other isms, such as humanitarianism, which do not achieve the attachment to hearing and chanting, are simply waste of time, are simply shrama evahi kevalam. If one is following varnashram dharma, but the varnashram is not leading to Krishna bhakti, then varnashram is also waste of time. Varnashram is also shrama evahi kevalam. Okay. Monarch Prabhu, verse number 9 translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Translation, verse number 1.2.9. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Hare Krishna.
So devotees and non-devotees have to endeavor. No one can sit idle. Therefore, question is, how is endeavor and enjoyment of a devotee different than karmi? So we are not against enjoyment. Devotee is not living in comfortable life just to enjoy senses. Rather, then why do you want to live? The karmis, they want to enjoy senses. That's why they live. While devotees want to know about absolute truth and serve the absolute truth. So devotee wants to buy a nice car so as to serve Krishna better. Instead of public transit, now I have a car so that I can go to the temple in the evening and do some services, attend Aarti. And this is the difference, that the focus of the devotee is that whatever material opulences they are trying to get, they use it in Krishna's service. Everybody with me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Vikas Prabhu, are you able to read verse number 10 translation from the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Right.
Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's works.
So Srila Prabhupada says in one of the lecture for these series of verses we are discussing today, Srila Prabhupada says, you are working so hard to maintain your body. This is Shrama eva hi kevalam, waste of time. Rather, you work hard, keep your body fit so that you can live for Tattva Jigyasa, means you know absolute truth. That who am I? I am a soul. Who is God? Krishna is God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is this material world? It's an external energy of Krishna. Why I have come to this material world? For punishment, because I was envious of Krishna. Plus, I have come to the material world for reformation so that I can go back home to Godhead. So these sorts of inquiries are to be made while we are in this body, in this material world. And we don't have to use our body and senses for enjoyment. Body and senses belong to Krishna. Therefore, use it in Krishna's service. Nitya has a question.
Yes, Prabhu, this was on verse 9, the belief of simple living and high thinking. So, shouldn't a bhakta or devotee not even desire to buy an opulent house or a fancy car? They could just buy a simple, and still use it in service. So, I believe that certain things come to you, that's just the grace of God. But then shouldn't we just not desire to buy big house, big car?
So there is no harm in buying a big house or a second house also, as long as you are using it in Krishna's service. So you are getting the second house or a bigger house. What is your focus? That's important. Pragya heard a lecture from Canto 3 on this, that the focus is important rather than the material opulence. As long as your focus is Krishna consciousness, then it is okay to have the desire to get a bigger house. For example, if you live in a small house, it's very difficult to hold a program for many devotees, say 15, 20 or plus devotees. It's very difficult. So you desire to get a bigger house and you hold a big Krishna Katha, you hold a big feast. So what's the purpose of your second house? It is to do Krishna Bhakti. That's okay. But otherwise, you live a simple life and focus on high thinking. But with the bigger house, what's your focus? The focus is Krishna consciousness. Your focus is not that I'm getting a bigger house to show off. Look, I have so much opulence. Nitya?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Okay, last verse for today. Whosoever has not read can go ahead and read the translation. I've lost track of who did not read. Oh, if somebody can read, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, can I do it?
Chaman Prabhu, go ahead.
Translation for text 11. Learn transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagwan. Hare Krishna.
In the purport, Prabhupada goes on to explain that Bhagwan or personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is the last word in absolute truth. Questions, comments, realizations before I give you homework?
Prabhuji, excuse me. The meaning of the non-dual substance. The meaning of non-dual. The truth called
Transcendentalists who know the absolute truth, all this non-dual substance. So duality is material. Everything in the material world has duality, that you have heat or cold, day and night. But non-dual refers to absolute. That's what it says, absolute truth, that in the spiritual world, the color black and the color white are identical. There's no difference between black and white. That's what it's referring to, that it's the absolute truth it's referring to. Chandran Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay, homework questions, make a note. Question number 1. Explain key points from chapter 2, verse number 6, 7, 8. Try to memorize. So next question is, try to memorize verses 6 and 7. You already have so many memorization verses from before also. Third is, I will send a link, Google link, for you to populate striking points and inquiries. And the fourth is for next class, read Canto 2, Chapter 2, verses 12 to 29. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations? Or not, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, one question related to 1.2.4, today's verse.
Yep.
So, Prabhu, in the translation, the Srila Vyasadeva has been mentioned as author. So, my question is, Prabhu, we have discussed that Srila Vyasadeva is the compiler. So, I got confusion.
Writing is one and the same. Compiler and author, he's writing. So that's what he's referring to. Compiler also writes, author also writes. Is referring to the same point.
Oh, okay, Prabhu. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for tolerating few extra minutes. Are we okay to stop here?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Hare
Thank
everyone.
Krishna,
you.
thank you
Krishna,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you, Gopinath. Jai Gopinath.